Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him.
Charlie James Kirk's life was one marked by ambition, controversy, influence, and ultimately, tragedy. To understand the man whose name dominated headlines in September 2025, we have to start in the suburbs of Chicago, where his story began. Born on October 14, 1993 in Arlington Heights, Illinois, Charlie grew up in nearby Prospect Heights. His father worked as an architect, his mother was a mental health counselor, and together they raised a boy with an outsized fascination for politics. From his days as a Boy Scout earning the rank of Eagle Scout to volunteering on political campaigns while still in high school, Charlie was never the type to blend into the background. He was a kid who wanted to make a difference and make it loud. In high school, Kirk was already dipping his toes into activism. He even fought a small but symbolic battle against his school's cafeteria over a cookie price hike, earning him local press and a taste of the spotlight. By the time he graduated, Charlie was hungry for bigger stages. Though he briefly enrolled at Harper College, traditional higher education never suited him. Within a year, he dropped out and chose to chase politics full-time, a decision that would define the rest of his life. In 2012, at just 18 years old, Charlie Kirk co-founded Turning Point USA alongside Tea Party activist Bill Montgomery. Their vision was bold: create a national grassroots student movement to counter what they saw as the dominance of liberal ideas on college campuses. From handing out flyers at small schools to organizing massive events, Kirk threw himself into the work with relentless energy. Turning Point's message was unapologetically conservative, often provocative, and always headline-grabbing. The group rolled out controversial projects like the Professor Watch List, naming professors accused of left-leaning bias. To critics, it was intimidation. To supporters, it was accountability. Either way, it catapulted Kirk into the national conversation. Within just a few years, TPUSA was hosting nationwide summits, drawing massive donor support, and building a presence on campuses across America. Kirk wasn't just a student activist anymore. He was fast becoming one of the youngest faces of the conservative movement. And it wasn't long before his path crossed with the man who would define American politics for a generation, Donald J. Trump. Initially skeptical of Trump's candidacy in 2015, Kirk quickly realized the energy and populist message resonated with young conservatives in ways no Republican figure had before. By the 2016 election, Charlie was campaigning for Trump, rallying students under banners like Students for Trump and positioning TPUSA as one of the movement's most visible youth organizations. He spoke at the Republican National Convention and soon became a fixture on conservative media. Trump himself began to take notice, praising Kirk's work and even calling him a great warrior for our cause. By his late 20s, Charlie Kirk was not only the CEO of TPUSA, but also the founder of Turning Point Action, its political arm, and Turning Point Faith, its Christian ministry branch. He was writing books, hosting a daily podcast, traveling on speaking tours, and sitting on the Air Force Academy's Board of Visitors. He wasn't just an activist, he was building an empire. Behind the political stage, Charlie Kirk was also a husband and father. In 2021, he married Erica Francevey, a businesswoman and former Miss Arizona USA. Together, they welcomed a daughter in 2022 and a son in 2024. Though Kirk shared snippets of family life on social media, he kept his children largely out of the public eye. Friends often described him as fiercely protective of Erica and their kids, carving out time for family even while on the road for events. But as his influence grew, so did the controversies. Kirk was deeply involved in the Stop the Steal campaign after the 2020 election, spreading claims of fraud that many saw as fueling political unrest. To his critics, he was polarizing and dangerous. To his followers, he was a truth-teller willing to challenge the establishment. Either way, his profile was only rising. And then, in 2025, everything came to a devastating halt. On September 10th, Charlie Kirk was speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, as part of his American Comeback Tour. The event drew roughly 3,000 attendees, including Erica and their children. For the first 20 minutes, it was business as usual, Kirk delivering fiery rhetoric, engaging with questions, and rallying his base. Then, in an instant, everything changed. A single gunshot rang out. The bullet struck Kirk in the neck near his carotid artery. Panic erupted in the auditorium as the audience dove for cover. Security rushed to the stage. Erica, sitting near the front with their kids, watched in horror as medics tried to stabilize him. Kirk was rushed to Timpanogos Regional Hospital, but despite desperate efforts, he died later that afternoon. He was just 31 years old. The shooter fired from a rooftop across campus nearly 200 yards away. Investigators quickly labeled the incident a political assassination. Utah's governor echoed the words, "This was not just a murder, it was an attack on American democracy." The shooter fled, sparking a statewide manhunt that remains ongoing. The response was immediate and emotional. Former President Trump released a statement calling Kirk a great and legendary patriot. Politicians from both sides of the aisle condemned the violence. Flags were lowered to half-staff. Across America, people debated what Kirk's death symbolized, a deepening political divide or a warning about the growing dangers of public discourse. For Erica and their 2 young children, the loss is immeasurable. For Turning Point USA, the future is uncertain without its founder. For the nation, it raises the chilling question, has politics in America grown too dangerous for those who dare to speak on stage?